What's going on, guys? Back at another video. It's been a couple years or two. But let's start off with Packers-Browns on the 1 o'clock game. I don't see the Packers losing this game. They're already 2-0, and the Browns are 0-2. Micah Parsons is a big deal. He should start ramping up now that he's getting into the system. And we know the Browns just aren't the same as when they had that 1 year with Joe Flacco in 2023 with Amari Cooper. They don't have that same receiving threats. I mean, they have Myles Garrett. They have a couple bright spots on the team, but there's nothing like what they had that 1 year. On to our next game, the Colts-Titans. Now, the Colts have been a very interesting team with Daniel Jones. I don't think anybody expected them to go so far in this playoff, in the regular season, as they did. And the Titans, Cam Ward has shown a lot of bright spots. He hasn't looked completely great, but he has shown flashes of what he could be, especially with that one cross-body throw. That was a great throw. On to the next, I think I can't see the Colts dropping this game, even though I kind of see them as the Saints team from last year, but not to a team like the Titans. I see them at least starting 2-0, and I don't see the Titans doing too well this year. They could go for a high draft pick next year and try and get a star player. On to the next game, Bengals versus the Vikings at US Bank Stadium. The Bengals without Joe Burrow, I don't see them doing too well in this game. The Vikings, J.J. McCarthy hasn't looked great. He's shown times when he can be that quarterback with that game-winning drive against the Bears. But without Joe Burrow, this defense, I don't think it will be able to keep up with the Vikings offense. Even just Justin Jefferson should have a game. TJ Hawkinson. They should all have good games against this Bengals defense. And I don't think that the Bengals are going to be able to keep up without Joe Burrow. On to the next game, Rams versus Eagles. This game should be pretty good. This is a repeat of the divisional round of last year. And the Eagles don't look as good as last year. They just beat the Chiefs, but how good are the Chiefs? They're 0-2. The Rams, they look good. They don't look like the best team in the league, but they certainly look like a playoff team. But at the end of the day, I think that the Eagles will just pull away in this game. And I don't think the Rams offense will be able to keep up, because this is a very scary Eagles defense, as always. And my score prediction for this game is going to be 23-17 Eagles. On to the next game, Steelers versus Patriots. Now, both these teams are 1-1. Drake May, I love Drake May. He has shown a lot of great plays coming from a Bills fan, too. He has shown amazing plays, and if he can keep this up, I think the Patriots could give up the Bills a run for their money in the AFC East. But the Steelers, Roger looked pretty good in that first game against the Jets. Didn't look as good last game against the Seahawks. So I think with this game being in Gillette, I think this is going to favor the Patriots. But I think Pittsburgh will find a way. I think it's going to be a more high-scoring game, and the Steelers are going to find a way to get on top at the last moments. On to the next game, Jets versus Buccaneers. This being in Tampa. Tampa's 2-0. They're looking good. Jets 0-2. That first game, they looked pretty good, but they got blown out by the Bills. I mean, I don't see this being a close game. I see Tampa Bay being able to just pull away very fast and very quick. Baker Mayfield is actually one of my most underrated quarterbacks, I think, in the league. And I don't see this being a close game. I'm going to say 27-10. The next game will be the Raiders versus the Commanders. Both of these teams being 1-1. I think the Commanders will win this game with Jaden Daniels. They haven't looked as good as last year, I will be honest with you. But is that just some pre-first game of the season? I think that's what it is. I have lots of confidence in Jaden Daniels. I don't think he's going to have any sophomore slump. And I think this game will be close with Ashton Jeanty. I think this will be one of his games where he finally breaks out. I mean, he's had a lot of good rushes, but he needs to put it all together like he did at Boise State. And I think that this is the day that the Raiders win. And I think they can dethrone Jaden Daniels. And I think this will be a big win for the Raiders if they can pull it out with Pete Carroll. Because if they win this game, they have positioning in the AFC West. That is going to be a tight division to watch, and that will be a fun division to watch as well. On to our next game, the last game in the 1 o'clock window. It will be the Texans versus the Jaguars. This game is an AFC South game, so this will obviously pose some things into it. I don't think the Texans will go 0-3. I think they'll have a bounce-back game. I think they're going to put everything together. And the Jaguars, they've shown bright spots, but they haven't really been including Brian Thomas Jr. into their offense at all. And that's kind of killing my fantasy team, so that is why I'm going to say the Texans go 1-2 to start the season, and the Jags fall to 1-2. But that's really not bad for this Jacksonville team who we thought were in a complete rebuild year. I know they only beat the Panthers to start the season off, but they kind of manhandled them. And I think this Jaguars team could be decent. On to our first 4:05 game. We have the Broncos versus the Chargers in an AFC West game. This will obviously pose big playoff implications and even division. And this game will be close. I think Vegas is favoring the Chargers in this one. But I think Bo Nix, I am very high on Bo Nix, and I think that he can put it all together. And I think he will be able to defeat this Chargers team. And if they win this game, this means that at least the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos are all in contention to win this division. And say even if the Raiders win today, maybe they're in contention to win too. We'll have to see. But I think the Broncos will pull away 23-20, late game field goal. The Saints-Seahawks. I don't think this will be a close game, even though the Seahawks really aren't that great. I don't think the Saints, are one of the worst teams in the football. And I don't see them keeping this game close. I mean, the spread is negative 7.5 for Seattle. I don't think this is going to be a relatively tight game. I see the Seahawks pulling away quick and very early from this game. I don't see them giving the Saints a shot. The Cowboys-Bears game, I do think the Bears will finally get their first win of the season. They've looked very good under Ben Johnson. They've shown lots of bright spots. But again, they look like the Bears. They choke the game, okay? We need to see Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and Colton Loveland. They just need to put everything they've worked on. They just need one complete circle game, and I think they would have a shot at this AFC or the NFC North. And I think the Cowboys really aren't too great. I mean, they won against the Giants, but how hard is it to win against the Giants? I don't know, because the Giants play the Chiefs. I think that will be a big time to say, deciding how good the Chiefs and Giants both are. But I see the Bears winning this game, and I think it will be close, but I think the Bears can pull away. Our last 4 o'clock game, Cardinals versus 49ers, NFC West game, I think the 49ers will win even without George Kittle, but it will be a close one, and I think you're going to have to rely on the legs of Christian McCaffrey, which is sketchy just because of all of the injury history he had, especially last year when you thought he came back and then went out for the rest of the year. But I think they can rely on the O-line, and I think they can rely on Christian McCaffrey, and the defense will obviously be good to beat this Cardinals team, but it's going to be a close game without George Kittle. But I think the Niners can still win this game. On to Sunday Night Football. Chiefs at Giants. The battle of 0-2. Who would have thought that this is how the Chiefs start their season? Not me, but I'm pretty thankful that they did. Now, the Giants, they played a very tight game. My heart wants to go with the Giants on this game because I think that's what all of America does. But the Chiefs are obviously the better team on paper. They have Patrick Mahomes. They should have been very easy win today, but something's telling me that the Giants are going to prevail, and they're going to take the win tonight. On to Monday Night Football, Lions at Ravens. This will be the game of the week in my opinion. This will be a very tight game as well. I see both of these teams being able to light up the scoreboard, and I see both of these teams being able to make a defensive statement. As I say that, I think that it will be an offensive shootout, and Dan Campbell is still trying to prove he does not need Ben Johnson to succeed in the NFL. And I think the Lions can make a statement at Baltimore that the Ravens are not the best team, and the Ravens are not the team, and the Lions are the team to beat. I think that's what the Lions trying to do tomorrow night. And I think the Lions will try very hard, but I don't see them winning. Give me the Ravens 30-33. I think this will be an insanely tight game, and this will definitely be my game of the week. But I could see this game going both ways, defensive battle or an offensive shootout. But whichever it is, I see the Ravens winning it either way because I feel like they're a little bit sharper on both offense and defense, and that is why I think they will win. That will conclude my Week 3 NFL predictions. If you like this video, make sure to like it, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy some football.